Howdy friends, I'm working on my scrap box this morning. It's almost time for me to move my sunroom office to my upstairs tower bower because the weather is kind of getting cool here. It looks like we're going to have a couple more weeks of nice weather, so we're going to really enjoy that. But this is the scrap box that I have that I use downstairs. And you can see that it is just getting really way full of all kinds of goodness. Don't get me wrong, it's all kinds of great, but it's really disorganized. So this morning I'm going to take a little bit of time and just go through this box and get some organization going here, because again I'm going to move upstairs, so I need a little bit of organization. What I'm going to do is go through the paper. And because I have cardstock in here and I have paper in here, I have plans for everything. So anything that I run across that's about 2.5 by 3.5, I'm going to make into ATC cards. This is the size of the insert I use in my handmade cards. So any kind of interesting papers that I see that I can cut 3 3/4 by 4.5, I'll do. This is the inlay size for these homemade cards, and I'll stick an iCard up here so you can see me make my homemade cards. It's a 3 by 4. I do a lot of dos books, and those are back-to-back little journals that are so cool, and I'm looking for papers that are 3 by 12. I'm also looking for insert papers that are 5.5 by 2.5. I'm also, while I'm processing this big box of paper, I'm going to look for business card size papers that are 3.5 by 2, and of course I make a lot of paper beads, so I'm going to look for anything that I can use for bead strips as well. So just like this is great paper for bead strips, so I'll just set that aside. This is I don't know exactly what that is. That looks like about a 3.5 by 5. Let me grab my ruler real quick and we can measure that and see if it would fit into any of our categories, that we're going to be working with today. So this is a little over 3.5 by 5. So do I have anything that is 3.5 by 5? I have something that is 3 by 4, which is an inlay for my card. So I'm going to grab my paper cutter. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this 3 by 4. 3 by 4. And that will give me insert paper for my homemade cards. So the next thing that we have is this very big sheet of painty papers that is already creased right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease off, because that won't work for, if I'm using this piece of paper to just cover something, the crease won't work. So. But I think, that would be pretty awesome for some rolled paper beads. So I'll just put this strip of paper in my rolled paper bead strips. And then this is a fairly big size of paper, but I am going to trim it down just a little bit, get some rough edges off. Again, look at that. That's a great piece of paper for paper beads. So I'll put that over here. This has a crease in 2 places, so I'm going to knock the crease off. Okay, now I have a nice piece of painty paper to work with that is flat with no rough edges on it or anything. And I also created a couple of pieces of paper that I can put in my paper bead stack. So you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. I think it's kind of the time of year that we start to look at our supplies and we start to try and clean things up, and I thought that this would be just a fun kind of process video to kind of look at stuff and see what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to fast forward through everything so you don't have to sit through everything and be bored with this great big thing of paper. Okay, y'all, I'll see you back in a little bit. Okay guys, you can kind of tell where I'm going with this. So I'm going to stop right here for just a minute and show you the piles of stuff that I have made. I've got a pile for stickers. I've got a pile for some beautiful napkins and other sort of papers right here. I have a pile of the insides of envelopes that I can use to make paper flowers. I have painty papers here. I have papers that I can use to cut my paper bead strips here. I have some tags that I can repurpose here from my beautiful friend Joy. Very excited about working with those. I have some cardboard here that was from the inside of, you know, when you buy light bulbs, they're wrapped in this cardboard. This cardboard is really interesting. It's a cool texture. I think it would even make like a really neat handmade stamp as well. I have a few stones here from my beautiful friend in Israel. I have words that I've cut out that I like, passion, peace, and this is a Tim Holtz ideology book of words here. I also I have fussy cut a few like elements that this was from a paint brochure. This was from a greeting card that I thought was really pretty. So I cut those out. I've got kind of a stack of papers that I'm thinking about using for, sorry y'all, I'm using for my homemade cards. And then I also cut out a few focal elements from the same kind of paint brochures. Now, a word about those paint brochures. I'm not the kind of person who would run in Lowe's and just snatch things up. I've been focused on trying to remember colors that I like, patterns that I like, things that I like. And I think that all of us kind of go through that as we get older. Our kids are grown, and you know we're kind of just trying to kind of rediscover ourselves. So I picked up a few of these brochures at the store. This one in particular caught my eye because it was just the colors were just so vibrant and pretty. So and then I thought this, you know, these peace signs would make really kind of cool elements and a piece of art. So I just kind of picked this up, and I thought these colors were just so beautiful. I would like to rediscover the things that I really liked, you know, when I was growing up, you know, before we were committed to marriages and children and things like that. The other one that caught my eye was a total 180 from this, or 360 from this. You know, this was just plain wood, a lot of white, a lot of you know, a lot of like antique-ish looking things, but I thought it was very pretty. But again, you know, I'm not really a person who's going to go in and snatch, you know, color samples and stuff like that. That's just not what I do. But I picked these up specifically to help me try and rediscover some things about myself, that, you know, things that I really did love, and things that I would like to, you know, especially color, bring into my life again. Okay, so we kind of know where I'm heading with this. My next video will be about processing the papers that I have taken out and categorized. I've taken out of my scrap box and categorized. And the next video will be how I'm using these elements that I've taken out of my scrap box. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you will process your own scrap box soon. It's kind of a scary thing. I have 2 or 3 of these, so I need to get better organized about this. And I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and come see me again. Thanks, y'all. Bye.